we're maintaining the product and all. So at that and in that company, I have learned a lot about the MS libraries and NuGet packages, and how to manage the common library and migrating the code from the old version to the newer version also. And in my current company called PwC, I am working as a full stack developer using Angular. So in this company, my role is to develop the application, and from past 6 to 7 months, I am working as a support role in this project. Like we have the support contract with the project, so that's why I'm working as a support. Like enhancing the feature or fixing the bug and all. Yeah.
Okay. But this role is predominantly for a .NET full stack guy. So will you be interested? This is not for support.
Yeah, I'm not like fully support. Like we have created the application, so they have signed another contract for providing the support, and in which we also have the development part, like fall into a development role, but like we are just we are just mentoring it, this is the support, this is support project, but we are providing the support, but we are not actually providing the support. We are developing the application or enhancing the application, or bug fixing and all. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So you are working as a support, but features and all you are still enhancing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So you have experience in .NET, Angular. So in .NET Core, which version of .NET Core you use? 6, right?
6.
Okay, and Angular 16. Quartz library for offline job. Okay, right. Yeah. And how about cloud? Do you have any knowledge in cloud?
I have used Angular. I've used Azure.
Azure 900. AZ 900 you completed, right? But what are services? I can understand the certification is different.
I have used Azure Functions. Okay. And app service, Azure SQL I've used.
Okay. And how about DevOps? So how familiar?
So I have experience in running the pipelines and all. But in my first company, where I learned about the NuGet package, I told you just. So in that company, I have I have created the pipeline in order to upgrade the NuGet packages only. So I just I have no it's not a big deal for me. I can do it for myself, but I have only worked like this in creating the CI/CD pipeline only. I have run the pipeline many times, but that's not a big deal, I know, but yeah.
Okay. So every 2 years you are switching. Any specific reason? You already switched 3 companies and you are looking for 4th, right? Within say 4 years.
3 companies, not 3 companies. My first company was my internship.
Okay, first one was internship. Okay.
Yeah, internship. The second company I have working as a full time, and the PwC I am working as a full time.
So your tenure is 2 years on an average, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Let us begin with .NET, and then we'll move to. So, are you familiar with SQL?
Yes.
Okay, so let us move to start with .NET. We'll move to API, Angular, and then SQL as the last. Okay. So you have 4 years experience, right? Or
yeah, you can say 4 years of experience.
4 years of experience. Okay, 4 years of experience.
If I am including my internship.
So have you heard about say dry principle?
Dry principle?
Yeah, DRY.
No.
Solid.
Yeah, I heard about the solid principle.
Right? So in solid, can you explain SOLI for interface segregation, right? Can you explain interface segregation?
So we are using interface segregation, like we can like as an interface said, we can use interface for the for the purpose of uh, uh, multiple inheritance. So we can use we can use same sort of code in our whole application.
Right.
Yeah.
But what is the point of segregating interface to multi? So let's assume you can keep one interface and keep all the functionality in single interface. But interface segregation principles state that you should have multiple interface so that you can store the different functionality to different.
So we are considering each and every module have their own interface, like assuming we have the service interface in which we are calculating our whole logic, and we have the repository interface in which we are connecting with our database.
Right.
So that's the
reason.
Meaning of segregation.
Right. So since we are talking about interface, can you tell me a best use case that you feel that interface can provide in terms of software development? Where do you feel that we should use interface?
Okay. So this is the case we are just talking about the interface segregation. Also, we can use interface with the abstract class where we can.
No, that I understand. I need an example, since you have doing coding, I believe, for 4 years, while creating API project or Windows service, whatever. What kind of application that you have seen? Where is the exact area that people use interface?
Dependency injection.
Okay, DI is one of the crucial part. Why we use DI? What is the point of implementing DI?
For the scope, actually, for defining the scope, for the main purpose to define the scope of the interface or class.
One part also, is defining scope, but it is not only defining scope.
Decoupling between the files.
Decoupling between modules. That is right. So how many ways are present so that we can? How many ways are there in order to by which we can say achieve dependency injection?
3: singleton, scoped, and transient.
No, I got it, but how many, suppose you have to inject an interface inside your say component or class, right? So what are the possible ways that you can inject that specific interface object?
Using the constructor.
Constructor is one.
Okay. So also.
Okay, constructor is a conventional one that we majorly use, but we have property and method injection. If you have time, try to explore why we go for property injection.
Basically, I know the dependency injection is basically the contact between the class and the interface for doing some particular task.
It is contract because whatever you have written in the interface, you must have to give the logic inside that class. So it's basically a contract. But the greatest example could be the decoupling, and that you told, right? Defining a scope that, okay, you cannot go beyond this. This interface should be scoped to this class only. That too. Since you talk about this one, can you tell me scoped and transient? What is the difference between these two?
Okay, so let's have an example to understand better this. So let's say I have just started my application, okay, on Swagger. Okay, so on Swagger, and I've run the API. Okay, so in the when I'm running the API, each of the interface we are using in that particular API, if we have defined those interface in the transient, in the transient, then in each in each time when the interface is executing, it will create new object for every time.
Okay, each call there will be a separate object. Yeah.
Okay.
A fresh object, rather, so, not separate.
Yeah, a fresh object basically. So if I'm talking about the scope, so if I'm calling if I'm trying to run an API, okay, in that particular request, okay, in that particular request, the in each particular request, the class object will be remain same.
Okay, inside
Like,
that specific request, the object would be same, right?
yes. In every execution, no new object will be created. In a particular request, the object will be same.
Okay. So, have you worked with .NET Core 3.1 as well, or you started with 6?
No, 3.1 as well. I have
As
worked
well,
with 3.1.
right? So, suppose you have an API in 3.1 and you ask to migrate it to 6.0. So, what are the steps that you need to follow?
Okay, so I can say for converting code from 3.1 to 6 is not a big deal. Okay, so basically there are few changes, like in the declaration of the code in the startup.cs file and the program.cs file in 3.1, and in .NET 6 we don't have the startup.cs file. We are all doing the same thing in program.cs file. All the other things are managing by itself in the .NET 6. Okay, even the program.cs, even the calling the program function is already defined in .NET 6. So also we have option to create a startup class in .NET 6. It's our choice. So that's not the thing we have to keep in mind while converting the code. We can check the CSProc file to change the version.
Target framework you have to change, right?
Target framework. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know any specific tool that can help to expedite this process a bit? There are Microsoft recommended tools basically.
I have used one, but I forgot the name actually.
Okay.
To be honest.
So upgrade assistant is there. Port utility is there. There are certain tools. Okay, there you can check the score. Okay, my score is 60, so I have to, if I have to upgrade, I have to change a lot. If my score is say 95, then I have to do small changes. So that is upgrade assistant, and we have port assistant. Those are Microsoft recommended tool. You should definitely use before even converting our changes. Then NuGet packages have to implement. NuGet package have to be restored. Then couple of lines of code maybe we need to write because all the method may not be there, right? So those things are there.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, fine. So let's assume a scenario that you are asked to store certain key value pair. What collection you are going to choose?
Key value pair. Dictionary.
Dictionary is one of the option, right?
Hash map,
hash rate, all are good. Now, can you tell me some disadvantage of dictionary? Where you should not use a dictionary?
Where I should not. If we can in dictionary, we generally don't manipulate that. In manipulation, we generally don't use the dictionary actually. We generally use dictionary to only store the data. We generally don't use to manipulate the dictionary, manipulate data in the dictionary. We can do this by changing the value, but we generally don't do this. I don't have seen that scenario like this before.
Okay. So any specific reason that usually we use dictionary for read-only purpose, not much to update or something?
Okay, so for my experience, I've generally used dictionary for space efficient, and for the calculation the calculation is faster in dictionary. We have used this like in read-only memory. Like read-only, but Dictionary execution is much faster than the list actually. So that's
Okay.
or we can
No,
easily access.
the main problem with dictionaries, it's not a thread set. So if you have multi-threaded application and you are trying to insert something inside dictionary, it may be weird. So if it is a multi-thread application, we should not use dictionary there. Otherwise, it's okay. Like you can still use dictionary. Just remember this point: multi-thread. Dictionary is not thread set. So we have concurrent dictionary, we have read-only dictionary for those, but normal dictionary which we use is not thread set. Okay, fine. So are you familiar with generics?
Yes.
So why we use generic class?
So we generally use generic class to if we don't know what type of data we are getting, or what type of the return type we got. So we use generic for that purpose.
Okay. So can you remember the syntax of generic? How to declare a generic? Let's assume you have to create a generic class, and that class will only accept a structure or even a class, a specific class. So how you can write that syntax? Can you tell me, or can you type it?
Generic method or generic class?
Generic class.
Generic class.
If you can explain a bit, that's also fine.
Okay, sure. So basically, specify class name, okay, and we are generally using the Angular
bracket and then T, right?
To create the generic class, yes.
Yeah. Then we have to also mention the condition where T is a class, right?
Where T is a class.
So that like you can only pass T, like class T as a class object.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I got it.
So that in only T we are getting only the class, nothing like anything else. That's why.
Okay, so in task parallel library there is an operator called yield. So have you ever yield keyword?
Yield keyword, I have not used yet that yield keyword actually. I only know this yield keyword we are using in generic keyword in order to return something.
It's not generic. You can use everywhere. Just that it's conditional return basically. No problem. So are you familiar with?
Return, I think multiple value if we want to return.
That's what a set of value you can return. So you need not to have a list or collection. So that yield keyword will return a set of value based on certain condition. That's a very useful operator. You can definitely explore.
I know, but I have not used. That's why I told you I have not used.
Okay, no problem. So have you heard about method chaining? Chain of method.
Method chaining.
Yes. So suppose you have something. Let's assume you have like a string, say input, okay, and input equals to say whatever maybe our result. Now you have get date dot get dot today. So did you seen this in your experience? Like you constantly having with res is an object, and then you have given get date. Once you have the get date, you again want to get today's date out of get date. So this is called method chaining. So do you know like how to implement this in C#?
Yes. Like we can use method. You can use extension method, I think, for you to get this. So we can. For this we have to make the method static first rule, and then we have to use this keyword in the first parameter for method extension, and then we can generally get this.
So you have to make such a way that the first one output should be accept the next one input, and both should be extension method. That's a trick,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And usually we see this in our entity framework or link. In link
Yes,
we have
and link
all
is the
method chaining.
all I think like in string we are generally can see this.
I agree. Okay, fine. Let's discuss about little bit on API. So you are familiar with API, right?
Yes.
So suppose in API you are calling an API through Postman and you get to see 429 the HTTP 429 response. Too many requests. So what does it mean?
So like we generally make a multiple request to the API. That's why we are getting 429 in response. So API is unable to respond in particular request. Then we are getting this in return.
Okay. So how do you know a specific terminology that we use for this in API? Do you know the terminology? Or what needs to be implemented in order to achieve this functionality so that our API cannot be called again and again? There should be a gap between those calls, though even it's a valid call.
Terminology.
Okay, it's called rate limiting, right? We have rate limiting.
So okay, I don't have heard this before.
Even if these days we are using API, either we have to write some code in our startup.cs or program.cs rather in order to implement rate limiting. If not, then you have to use API gateway or APIM where you can implement this rate limiting. So there you can define, okay, in 1 minute I just allow 2 calls, or maybe 10 seconds I will only allow 1 call. So that is called rate limiting. So that resource cannot be because these days we host this in Azure, right, or AWS, a cloud. So it will incur a huge cost. If some malicious user get the endpoint and keep calling with a script, then it will end up with a huge bill. So that's what we use rate limiting. Everybody uses.
So I don't know about the terminology, but I did this in my application. Like I've created the custom filter to achieve this.
Okay. These days custom filter are not required because we have everything in program.cs, right? We have made that one things are there, pipelines and everything, so we can almost do everything from our program.cs itself. Okay, fine. Since we're talking about API, so do you know what is content negotiation?
Content negotiation
in web API?
I don't know about the terminology.
But let's assume, okay, so just one point, during interview, you cannot switch between tabs. Okay, so that's unethical practice. So the thing is that suppose you are calling an API and you need JSON. Sometimes you need JSON, sometimes you need XML, right? So how you can implement this in API?
Sorry, could you please come again?
Okay, so you are creating an API and client said, based on my call, I can either expect a JSON or I can either expect XML from your API. It can be either of them based on the call they call. They will pass something best out of that. You have to share either XML or a JSON. So how you can implement the same? Because you can create a 2 API endpoint, one for JSON, one for XML. That's a bad idea. But can we create something so that our API can serve both the purposes? Either it can send JSON, it can also send XML, or it can even send text as well.
Okay, and JSON in text or is JSON in XML?
No, I'm saying based on the call, it can even return the response in JSON or maybe XML from the same endpoint, same method.
We can use condition in this using the parameter they are sending. maybe I think the return type. Um,
Can you think of return type? Return type is the clue.
yeah, return type is the I think is the key.
Right.
So I think there's a content result. I think something.
No, in MVC we have content result, but in API I was talking about. So we usually use iAction result or action result or HTTP response. So these three will automatically handle this scenario. So if you use these three, it will be doing the content negotiation behind the scene. So you need not to explicitly write something.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And have you heard about CORS? CORS?
CORS issue, yes. So basically, CORS issue, we are generally the unauthorized URL trying to calling the API.
Unauthorized. Is it unauthorized users? I mean, unauthorized?
No, unauthorized in the application actually.
Unauthorized domain basically.
Yeah, unauthorized domain basically. Sorry. In the we have to declare the we have declare if we have declared some of the few domains in our application to access the APIs, then other than that we are getting the CORS issue.
So then how to resolve it? Like how we resolve it?
Yeah, we can globally we can provide the global access to the domain in program.cs file.
We can write our own exception logic inside program.cs, right? We can mention that specific domain name so that it can be accessible, right?
Allow URLs correct.
Yeah, right. So you have to write the CORS stuff inside that.
Yeah.
Okay. How about authentication? So have you implemented authentication in API?
I have used the JWT token-based authentication in the application.
So do you know the difference between OAuth 2 and JWT? A lot of people get confused between these two terminology. Both are quite similar.
I think JWT token is not inbuilt function in .NET Core, but OAuth 2 is an inbuilt function in .NET Core.
Inbuilt library, library. It's not a function, library. Right?
It's a library provided by the .NET framework itself.
Right.
So that's the main difference. But other than that, all the things is same. I think.
Okay, so since we are talking about JWT, in JWT, so have you implemented refresh token?
I have not implemented the refresh token, but I have used that refresh token.
So why
after every 15 minutes,
token?
The token got refreshed. Yeah.
Okay. Does it automatically gets refreshed, or you have to do something?
No, it automatically get refreshed. I think.
Okay. So you are saying like you have maybe an Angular project and maybe API is integrated, and then that session token gets automatically refreshed from this particular refresh token. That is the mechanism that we follow. We keep storing both refresh token and session token. Fine. So where exactly we store this in Angular? This session token or refresh token?
In session we can store
session.
In Angular. Yes.
Okay, so you have to implement a library then, like anything other than maybe this session and all. So can you store it somewhere in browser or cookies?
Yeah, we can use cookies for that.
But the easiest way is to store in session storage or
actually, for the security purpose we can use the session. It may be safer than cookies actually.
It is safer. Okay, fine. So in Angular, suppose you have two components and both components are not related. They do not have a parent-child relationship. And you have to call a method from one component from a different component. So how you can call that particular method?
We can use a common service. I can create a common service. In that service, I can call that method, and that will be much easier for me to access that service in both the components.
Okay, so ideally you have to create a shared service. Shared service should be
Yeah, shared service. I mean to say.
subscribe to the calling method, and here also you have to import, then you can call. So this is the best approach. Otherwise, we can try using view child.
If there is the relation between the components
Right.
and child relation.
Right, we can use view child. Input output decorators are also present, but again that to pass data, not this one like call and all. What about RxJS operator? What kind of RxJS operator you used in your Angular project? Reactive JS operators. Observable, fork join, hashing pipe.
Observable.
Observable used, right? So why we use usually observable?
So generally we use observable to get the multiple values from the to get the result. Like observable can have the multiple inputs, and we can get the multiple outputs as well. It's in normal JavaScript we have only the promise, but in promise we can't handle multiple requests at the same time. Also we have to use subscribe the observable, but in promise we don't. We can only I think something there in promise, but we can't cancel the promise in JavaScript, but we can unsubscribe also.
These are main thing, but it is not multiple value. It is a stream of value. So if you subscribe, you will get a stream of value, not multiple value. The ideal technology would be stream of values.
Okay.
And
so
both
might be
asynchronous.
might be my terminology would not be good in Angular. Actually, I have not as much in Angular. I have only 1 year of experience in Angular.
You're just exploring Angular, right? You have just started working in Angular.
No, I have worked a lot in Angular, like 12 to 15 hours in a day in Angular.
Okay.
But still, I'm not familiar with the terminologies, but I have worked a lot as a practical.
I got it. Fine. How about version control? Okay? So microservices. Did you work upon microservices?
Yes, actually, microservices basically a particular service we have created.
I got it. So any specific design pattern that you have seen or that you have implemented inside microservices? Repository pattern is not. I mean, you can use in microservices, but this is not specific to microservice. There are at least 30.
Dependency injection I have used.
Sorry, which one?
Dependency injection I have used.
Okay, but again, those are not specific to microservice. Microservice has at least 20-25 odd design patterns specific to microservices. Like you have CQRS, you have mediator, you have cache aside, gatekeeper, circuit breaker, saga, choreography, all like these. Anything from them?
If I have worked on, but I don't know the
maybe you haven't explored that one, but maybe like CQRS or maybe cache aside, every people might have used. Fine. And how about this one? Version control. Which version control are you using?
Git and Azure DevOps.
Git and Azure DevOps, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose
internally. Internally, they all use Git, but we know. Yeah.
Suppose let's assume like you have accidentally committed something in Git. How to revert it?
I can just accidentally commit some part of.
So you are working on something, and then you have committed the code to the remote repository. Now you think, it's totally wrong. You have to revert the changes and you have to start as a fresh. So what will be your step-by-step approach?
So, so I can revert those changes. Simply revert those changes. Also, if in some way, if I'm unable to revert those changes, I can cherry pick also. Then will revert.
Okay, so cherry pick is usually used for then PRs, but anyway, like you can revert it. You can go back to the previous version and restore it. That is one of the options.
Like in Git, sometimes I can't. Sometimes in generally big applications. application or in a big commit, we generally unable to revert back. So